Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Annabeth and I am so happy that you're here. If you are a new watcher, welcome to Annabeth is Knitworthy here on YouTube. I talk about knits and things I'm knitting and yarn and all of that fun stuff, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so a lot to talk to you about today. Primary focus of this video is going to be comfy cozy knits I have planned for the coming months. Yesterday here in Northeast Ohio, the high temperature was about maybe 72. If it got into the 70s, it was beautiful all day. So that put me in the mood to talk about some comfy cozy things I have planned. I also have a finished object and a whip to show you guys, and some acquisitions. So buckle up because there is a lot coming your way today. Okay, so first things first, my finished object I am actually currently wearing. No idea if you can see this or not, but they are the second sample of my pumpkin picking socks. Here's the first sample that I have, and here's the first sample. And these, as I am filming this, it is September 1st, which, as I mentioned before, is the first day of meteorological fall, and it also means that this pattern was released today. So it is available on Ravelry and Etsy, and for the first week of its being out in the world, first week after its release, I guess, there is a sale going on in both my Ravelry shop and my Etsy shop, where if you use the code PICKYOURPUMPKIN, so that's PICKYOURPUMPKIN, you get 20% off both of my patterns. So both the New Beginnings socks and the pumpkin socks get to be 20% off with that code. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure when I'm going to post this video, so if I end up posting it later, I'll put a separate code for you guys here over on YouTube in the description. I don't know what it'll be yet, but if I end up posting this later, I'll put a separate code that'll be good for a little bit longer, like a week from when I post this video. Okay, moving on. So that's my main finished object. This second sample I knit in Hexblade from Red Door Fiber Studio on the Cozy Sock base, so that's the one that had a little bit of mohair in the blend, and the contrasting color was Scar from Long Dog Yarn on the Bounce Sock base. Alright, so moving on to whips. I've had no progression with my other sock whip right now, and then my only other whip is this guy right here. Oh, that's backwards. This is my mini mock neck tank by Jessie May Designs. I am knitting it in Treehouse Knits tweed sock on Most Metal Ever. So let me get a little closer. So it's this beautiful blue variegated yarn. I love how it's like I'm not getting any color pooling based on how it was dyed up, and you just get like these mini teeny tiny little splotches of the lighter blue and the darker blues, and I am just obsessed with it. Obviously it's September 1st, and if you are a fan of college football like myself, you know that college football starts tomorrow. We're actually leaving in a couple hours to fly to my brother's first game. Hence the packing that's still going on behind me, because I'm procrastinating. So, yeah, that's not done for the first game, but I'm hopeful I may have a little bit more time. This coming week's a little bit less busy for me with work. Maybe I will get it done for week 2, which is also the first home game. So we'll see. So that is my main whip. I have not made any more progress on my other sock whip yet, so I'm not going to show you guys that. If you want to check it out, I believe I talked about it in my first video, so the welcome to my channel video. Alright, so moving straight into acquisitions. I got some yarn this week. I am really excited for this. I've been waiting for it for a while because this is the yarn that I got from Through the Wardrobes. Did she call it Shadow and Bone Collection? I think it was Shadow and Bone Collection. So I'm going to show you guys what I got. So first up, I'm going to do it in pairs. So first up, I have these two. So this is I Liked Your Stupid Face and Wyland Band Sunshine on Romantasy Sock and Magical Mohair. These two I am of course going to pair together because they are Jesper and Wyland. I'm going to pair them together for a Hobbiton vest. Hobbiton vest by, is it Fabled Knitwear? Basically, all three pairings that I got, I'm going to make a different vest from that designer in. So this one is the Hobbiton vest. Next pairing, we have Better Than Waffles on Magical Mohair and Already Home on Romantasy Sock. So obviously this is Helnick, Nina Zenick, and Matthias Helvar. This one, I'm going to make the, is it Etherean? I'm definitely going to get that one's name wrong. Ethilian? I'll be putting a picture up. You know how it is with me and names. So, that's vest number 2 that'll be coming. And finally, we have Without Armor and No Mourners, No Funerals. Technically, this is the overall Six of Crows color that she did, not the Kaz Brecker color. But Kaz Brecker's color was mostly like grays and blacks, and I really loved how this one, here let me bring it closer, this one has a little bit of all the crows in it, and this one is of course Inej's color, so I just liked how these two would pair together more than straight up Inej and Kaz's colorway. And given that she is kind of, you know, the heart and soul of the crows, I thought that was better. So this one is going to be a Gondor vest when I get around to it. So that is it for acquisitions. So now, following our basic structure, talked about finished objects, talked about whips, talked about acquisitions. Now we're moving into knitting plans, and this is going to be the bulk of this video because, as I mentioned before, I've gotten into a comfy cozy mood lately. So I'm going to talk to you about some comfy cozy knits that I have planned based on stuff that's already in my stash. The vests that I talked about with the Six of Crows yarn, they can kind of be comfy cozy, but they were in the acquisition section, not in this section, because I got their yarn this week after I planned this video and before I recorded it, so they're their own area. Anyway, so I have my notes written out here, and I'm going to show you all what I am hoping to make with a bunch of the yarn that is already in my stash. So let's get into it. So first up, do I want to talk about the pattern first or show you the yarn? I think I'll show you the yarn first. So I have these two colorways. This is Noro Ito yarn. It's in an A4, so like a worsted to Aran weight yarn. I have two colorways in my stash. This one is color 6, which I believe is Labyrinth, and this one is color 19, whose name I do not remember, and I will put it on the screen. I got both of these colorways from my local yarn store. I was originally thinking about making like a deep winter jacket from, I think it's Wool and Pine Designs, but I decided with the like almost self-stripingness of this yarn with cables, that'd probably be a little bit too much for my general style. So instead, with this, I'm going to be making the Gold Dust Jacket by Meryl Mokri. Not sure if that's how I'm supposed to say it. If I'm wrong, I'll put a correct pronunciation on the screen. So I have 3 of colorway 6, which is Labyrinth, and I have 2 of colorway 19, whose name I cannot remember. And I'm going to be making, like I said, the Gold Dust shacket with it. And that calls for a worsted weight yarn. However, when I was looking through the projects on the pattern page, there was at least one maker who made it with worsted held double to create a bulky for a little bit of a heavier jacket. So I'm thinking with this, I have enough in colorway 6. Like I said, I have 3 of these. So I have enough if I wanted to just hold worsted single to make it just this colorway. But if I wanted to hold double to create more of a bulky jacket, I would have enough between the 5 balls of yarn that I have across the 2 colorways. So what I'm going to do to figure out what I want to So what I'm going to do to figure out what I want to do is I'm actually going to swatch. I feel like I can feel your gasps through the future camera right now. Future screen. I'm not a big swatcher. Normally I go with it and then see how it looks and like check my row gauge and stitch gauge and adjust accordingly. So I will actually be swatching for this one. Gasp again. So that I can see which fabric density I like more. It's not so much for getting gauge, which of course since I'm swatching I'll check my gauge too, but it's more to see which fabric density I like more, because it is like, it looks like a pretty sturdy jacket based off of, shacket, based off of the photos that are on the pattern page. So I just will have to see if I want something a little bulkier in this yarn or stick with the worsted. So we'll see. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so the next comfy cozy sweater that I have in the works and I have the yarn for already is, oh wait, I was showing the yarn first. So here's the yarn first. This is Dissonant Whispers from Red Door Fiber Studio on the classic DK base. You can see the lovely purples and teals and blacks in it. And then this is Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash DK, just in their black colorway. I don't think it has a fancy name. I think it's just black. So these two I'm going to pair together for a partner pullover by Lydia Morrow. And if you've checked out this pattern at all, you know there's like 2 different options for the color work that you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually hoping to combine them. There was a tester, did I write down her name? Their name? Oh, they were Insomniac Amoeba on Ravelry, where they did the like more checkered pattern to like the bust, to like the sleeve split, and then they did the wavy pattern below that, and it looked so cool and so trippy. I was like, Dissonant Whispers and black, because I had already paired these together for like maybe another great gingham or something. That would be perfect for this. So, partner pullover where I'm combining the 2 color work options is going to be for these 2. And it'll be a DK weight sweater. That's another thing, like I have done so many fingering weight projects, it feels like, these past couple of months, just because of spring, summer, you know, I don't want to be making a freaking bulky weight sweater when it's 80, 90 degrees outside. I know there are people who do that. Power to you. I am not one of those people. I am not strong enough. But I have been craving a good worsted or DK project. So once I finish my mini mock neck tank, best believe it is DK all day, because I'm tired of fingering weight projects. That being said, let me move on to my next one, which just happens to be a fingering weight project. So anyway, having said that I'm tired of fingering weight projects, let's talk about a fingering weight project. So this lovely, lovely, lovely number is Duran's Bane from Long Dog Yarns, One Collection to Rule Them All, and this is on the yak silk fingering base, and it's so beautiful. The because yak silk has a bit of a darker base than like a regular merino wool or a silk or a cotton, it like deepened all of the colors. So if you look on Brandy's Instagram and you just see how the yak silk compares to the other colors, all of them are so much like deeper and richer, and I saw this and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And what I would make with it is the Wool and Honey sweater from Andrea Mowry. Now, this one probably won't happen for a while just because I am tired of fingering weight projects right now, other than socks, because the fabric density of a sock with fingering or sock weight yarn is basically the same as like a DK or worsted weight sweater. So socks don't count as my sick of fingering weight projects because they're just small and tiny and I love them. So yeah, fingering weight sweater in Duran's Bane. I'll probably like jokingly call it my Blood and Honey sweater or something, just because that's a book I really like. But yeah, this one might not happen until like November, so we'll see. Okay, so I have talked about 3 long sleeve things so far, so let's talk about something with no sleeves. This is Hestia from the Paisley Knits Greek Gods collection. Let me get a little closer. I know it doesn't focus anymore, but I've decided to just roll with it. It doesn't focus on not my face. And this is on the Cloud base, which I think was new. It was new with either the Heartstopper or the Greek Gods collection. I think it was Greek Gods though, because I remember seeing Hestia on Cloud and I was like, that is so beautiful. I need to make something with it. And that something is going to be a happy hour top by, shoot, I didn't write her name down. I know it's Gemi. I don't remember what her official business name is, but happy hour top by Gemi. You know the drill. I'll put it on the screen. And what I love about the Cloud base is you can see it's very fluffy and fuzzy. It's like a 1-ply blown yarn. But the thing is, this is 100 grams and it still has 284 yards. So that's basically the yardage of like a worsted weight skein. So it is like 1-ply and blown and beautiful, but it is like a worsted weight. So I'll be able to make a regular happy hour top with this. And I think with the stitch pattern that's on the happy hour top with the texture of this yarn, I think it's just going to be beautiful and such a lovely transitional like vest top to wear. Okay, so all of the things I've shown you so far have been very like fall, Halloween, whatever colored related, however you want to think about it. So moving on into maybe some more like winter vibes, comfy cozy knits. I don't have the yarn to hold up for this one. I do have it. It's right there. I can see it. I'm not holding it up because it's 12 50-gram skeins. So the yarn that I'm speaking of is the yarn from the Paisley Knits To the Mountains like 12 Days of Christmas box that she did last year. And what I'm going to do with that, because it made such a gorgeous fade. Actually, let me grab 2 of the skeins. So we have Fitzroy, which was the first one, and I had them in a somewhat order over here. Everest, which was the last one. So the fade went from Fitzroy to Everest with a little bit of green in the middle, and it was gorgeous. It's such a seamless fade. So I've decided what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to let the fade speak for itself, and I am going to make another Ali's sweater. Now I already have an Ali's sweater with the color work The one that I would make with this yarn would just be the base pattern with like the increases and stuff, because that became one of my favorite sweaters that I made last year. Yeah, it was last year. I did finish it before the new year. So I love how that one fits. So I am just going to do the base pattern, let the fade speak for itself, do a little bit of math to figure out like how many inches of each color I'll knit. But yeah, I'm super excited for that one. It's going to be a lovely winter knit for sure. So next up in like more winter vibe knits, I have, oh, I knocked something down. I'll pick that up in a minute. This lovely yarn. So these, are the, I call them the Gods colorways. Don't know if that was their official distinction, don't remember. But it was from the Little Foxes Hadestown collection. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know last year I made a 3 Seasons cardigan with like the Mortals yarn from the Hadestown collection. So that was Spring Will Come Again, Son of a Muse, Little Songbird, Keep Your Head Low, which was the chorus's colorway, and then Electric City. So I called that like the Mortals side of the collection, and this is the Gods side of the collection. So this is Our Lady of the Underground, so Persephone, King of Shadows, Hades, Always in the Back of Your Mind for the Fates, and Feathers on His Feet for Hermes. So what I'm going to make with this, I have another one of each of these three. I'm going to make a Comfort Fade Cardigan by Andrea Mowry with these. This is one I've had planned for a while and it just keeps getting put off because I'm like, I will be using 7 skeins of yarn for that cardigan. It's going to take me a long time. So I keep putting it off. So hopefully this year I will stop putting it off because I think it will just be so gorgeous just in this order. Maybe I'd put the Fates between Persephone and Hades. Let me know in the comments what you think is the better fade. Should Hades be next to Persephone and then they like go in order to Feathers on His Feet, or should it go Persephone, Fates, Hades, Hermes? Let me know. Looking at this now, I can't decide. Okay, anyway, let me pick up the skein I dropped. So next up, I have this, which is Winter Lights from Mezzo Makes in her Maestro mohair. So I have 4 skeins of this, and I am going to make a cumulus blouse with this. I feel like the cumulus blouse is one of those ones where like everyone has made one, and now I'm like, well shoot, now I gotta make one. I think it would be really fun if I could get this done maybe before Christmas. Like maybe that'll be the sweater that I make and wear to the Christmas Eve service at our church. But we'll see what I get done because plans change, people change, we're all humans. Here we are. So yeah, cumulus blouse on Winter Lights. Cumulus blouse is by Petite Knit. I feel like we all know that, so sorry for not saying it first. But yeah, I think this gives like really nice, cozy Christmas vibes without like the green and the red, you know? So, excited about that one. Okay, so we've gone through like kind of fall vibes, comfy, cozy knits. We've gone through some like winter vibes, comfy, cozy knits. And so now we're going to go into like kind of the spring vibe, early spring. It doesn't really get warm here until like May or June, so I have plenty of time to wear a DK weight sweater in the spring. So with that in mind, next up I have to come up here to grab it now because I have yarn everywhere. These 3 beautiful colors are from Red Door Fiber Studios' Princess Bride collection. So this is Pity to Damage Yours. This is I'm Not a Witch, I'm Your Wife. Oh, wait, we gotta say that in the voice. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Yikes. And Bow to the Queen of Slime. Bow to the Queen of Slime. I'm sorry for that. That's just where we're at right now. I had a long week. Alright, so these three are going to be used to make a sarin sweater or sarin sweater. I'm not entirely sure which it is. I think it's sarin sweater though, by Bloom and Create. So Pity to Damage Yours is going to be the main color, and then these two will be the contrasting colors for the color work yoke. And I think these have really nice, like, soft spring, just waking up from winter vibes, so I think it would be beautiful for that time of year, and maybe I will have time to knit it in that time of year and have all of these other knits I've talked about out of the way. We'll see. Okay, so we have talked about fall, we've talked about winter, we have talked about spring, so let's just get into, like, the other category. So what I have with me now is Red Door Fiber Studio, of course, Armor of Agathis. This was another one that was in the D&D club from last year, along with Dissonant Whispers. I have four skeins of Armor of Agathis, and originally I was just going to create something kind of straightforward, basic stockinette, like a classic cozy raglan or like cozy v-neck from Jessie May, but instead I am going to be making a Seaway pullover by Ozetta with this, because I mean, look at it. They were meant to be together. But I only have 4 skeins, so I need to wait until Kate does the D&D collection again later this year. I think it's in November. There's a calendar on her website that I can check. And I'll probably need to get 2 more to account for, like, the oversizedness of the pullover, the Seaway pullover, and the cables that run throughout it that make it so beautiful. So, can't wait to work with this, but we are in a holding pattern until I can get more. Could I potentially start this sweater without having all of the yarn? Yes. Do I want to? No. There we have it. So then, also in the other category, is this lovely pair. So these are both from Hello Stella Fibers. This is Saffron in her 100% Highland wool fingering base, and this is Marigold in her Surrey alpaca base. These two are a gorgeous pair. I'm holding it upside down. And I have 3 of each, and the only reason they have not been used yet is because I am indecisive as hell when it comes to these two. Like, look at all of these decisions I have already made for all of this other yarn. I've had these two for a while, and I keep bouncing between ideas. Current thought is a Lento sweater in this. I think a really beautiful, straightforward raglan would be great for this pair, but please let me know your thoughts for these two, because like I said, I'm indecisive as hell when it comes to these two, so I will take suggestions. Current thought is a Lento at some point with these two, because that seems very comfy cozy. And look how beautiful these two yellows are. Like, come on, they gotta be something that just exudes warmth. They gotta be something nice and cozy. Alright, moving on. This one is also an other just because it's not a sweater and it's not a garment. Whoa, look, Red Door Fiber Studio again. Are we surprised? Of course not. These both are Nonsense, also from the Princess Bride collection. Nonsense. You're just saying that because nobody ever has, you know, when they're about to enter the fire swamp. So this is tweed sock and this is Surrey lace, and the reason I got these two was because Kate influenced me with her photo shoot with Haley from Twin Veiled Artificer right before the Princess Bride collection dropped, and she had this gorgeous Laulu show, I think is what it is. And yeah, I was like, I need one of those. Have I made it yet? No, of course not. But it'll be made into one eventually. Okay, so last thing we're talking about, which should have been the first thing I talked about, I am now realizing, because it's the one I actually have planned as my next project. So, as I mentioned before, there's packing going on behind me because college football starts this weekend, and we are going to my brother's first game in Montana. It's a whole thing. I'll tell you guys about it another time. So this is Truth Teller on Tweed Sock from Red Door, and this is Court of Dreams on Surrey Alpaca from Explorer Knits and Fibers. And as I talked about before, and I think my first video, I'm going to be pairing them together for a Oslo Hat Mohair edition. And the reason I'm going to be winding these up as soon as I'm done recording this. I'm going to be taking this instead of like my mini mock neck tank on the trip with me is because if you've knit an Oslo hat before, you know this. It is so straightforward and lovely. It's just round after round of stockinette in the round. It's beautiful. The only real pauses are when you have to fold the brim and then like flip it around and knit on the wrong side that then becomes your right side. Whatever. If you made one, you know what I'm talking about. So that is a lot easier for me to do on a plane when I'm trying not to be anxious about being on a plane. So that is why it's going to be my travel project for this weekend. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to wind these up right after I'm done recording this. And this should have been the first thing I talked about before going into all of these things that I have planned out for the next couple, maybe even several months. But here we are. We get a little out of order sometimes. It happens. Okay, so that is all that I had as far as comfy, cozy, upcoming knitting plans that I have for the changing season. So as I mentioned before, I'm recording this on September 1st, and along with the seasons changing, there are a couple of the season, seasonal themed knit-alongs and make-alongs that are starting today that I will hopefully be joining with my Oslo hat. So the first one is, I believe it's the Cozy Girl knit-along, or maybe Cozy Girl make-along. That is being hosted over on Instagram by some lovely people that I follow. I'll put their names on the screen, of course. And then the other one is the spooky, I think it's Spooky Fall Make-Along 23. That's probably wrong. You know the drill. I'll put it on the screen. So that is another one that I might be joining. I might not join it with the Oslo hat because that one they did specify that they want things that like coordinate with fall or spooky season or whatever. That's not the Oslo hat. Well, being very cozy, so it's perfect for the first one. It's not very spooky, and there's not really anything I can relate it to. Well, I could relate it to football season. Football season is in the fall. Alright, maybe it'll work for both then. But we'll see. I have lots of other upcoming things that can work for both. And I think both of them run the length of September, and the second one, the spooky one, might actually go all the way through Halloween. So if you want to join those knit-alongs and make-alongs with me, feel free. I'm pretty sure it's one of those things where you just have to post with the hashtag whips are welcome, unfinished objects are welcome, all of that fantastic stuff. So yeah, that is all of that I have for you today. Quick reminder, if you want to join either of those mals, pumpkin picking socks would be perfect. Perfect little pattern for those. If you're into sock knitting, I know some of us aren't. So that is all I have. I have to finish packing now and also put all of this yarn back in its home. So we'll do that too, because I just made myself another mess to clean and pack away. I'm gonna get the yarn for my Oslo hat all wound up, and then it'll be almost time to hit the road. So I hope you had a good time watching this. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you think I should make the yellow yarn into. Any of the other things I talked about that I can't remember right now. And as always, feel free to subscribe to stay up to date with the videos that I post, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I post things, because I don't have a set schedule like some awesome people do. And yeah, so hope you are also planning something cozy, comfy cozy for the coming season, and if you don't, maybe I gave you some ideas. But nevertheless, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all soon. Bye!